Hello and welcome to a live in-person episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I am your host, Dalton Man Pelt Scotch on the sidelines. We have been drinking scotch all the live long day. With me in live and in person, in the flesh, Zachary
Stewart, baby.
David Stewart.
Yeah, make whatever middle names you want up. As long as they start with the letter D, I'm good with it.
That's right. He's a big fan of the D. All right. I don't think this is pulling up we're looking for.
So you're looking for?
No, because it's all previews.
Shoot.
So while we do some technical difficulties, I will start hosting this podcast. Most of the matchups are already done.
Yeah, let's do a preview then.
We have we'll talk about the matchups that mattered. So Zach and I have been watching the Red Zone all day in my basement. Currently there is a unwatchable game on. So we've got an unwatchable game on in the playoff baseball game over there.
Yes. Two screens tonight to watch the games. Unfortunately, we have to watch the Tyrod Taylor New York Football Giants and the Giants in back-to-back primetime games, which is rough to watch. So we have the NLCS on as well with the Cheaters and the Texas Rangers.
All right.
We'll break down the matchups that mattered. Most of those games are going to be finished. I am actually in the race for the skins this week. We'll see kind of how that goes down over the next day and a half. Currently, I am up 151 and change to Cole 71.66. I got a great day from Kyron Williams in the second half. You know, he had 21 points in the second half. AJ Brown has a nice day. Jalen Waddle back on track. Hunter Henry, you know, tight ends, how it goes. That's kind of how it goes. But big day from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dalton is trying to pull up everything. Otherwise, solid day. Cole did not have much going on. So tough loss for him. It gets me back to 3-3, drops Cole down to 3-3. So kind of right there in the middle of the pack. Drew looks like he's gonna get a win over Patrick. Patrick's gonna drop to 1-4. Not a lot going for Patrick's team. You know, a rough outing on Thursday night on the Broncos going against the Chiefs. Not much going on Patrick's team except Alvin Kamara getting it going with his catches. Solid day overall for Zack Moss, Ken Walker, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, obviously getting back into routine, and Drew also had Stephon Diggs going. So not much going on in that matchup. Drew is going to get to 4-2, a good start for one-hit wonders. We have a decent matchup going on. Going to be a close matchup between Dark Horse and Blaster, but we have a defense and a flex for Dark Horse. Scroll down there, Dalton. We have Gabe Davis and Tyler Bass versus the Bills defense for the win. So that's going to be a fun one to monitor throughout this game. Dark Horse needs Gabe Davis. And his kicker, I guess he does have the Cowboys defense on Monday night as well.
Loss on the play for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Looks like Luke is going to fall to 2-4 and fall down and to stay in that bottom four. Whereas Lean gets back up to 2-3 to try to 3-3 to stay out of that bottom four. Bad day overall for Luke. Rough day for Burrow, Ayuk, Jamar Chase, everybody in his lineup. Bad day. So better days ahead, but Luke is down bad and fighting for his life every single day.
It's a pretty funny day when Kendrick Bourne on your bench, would have been your highest scoring player, and he was on your bench.
Yeah.
Who just went out for the Giants?
Offensive line.
Okay. No one cares.
No,
They don't score points in fantasy.
Yeah, we are not really tuned into this
This
Sunday night
one
game
is actually a lot closer
than we thought it was going to
than
be.
we thought it was going to be. Cody Sackett.
Two time.
He currently is in the lead against Stuart Brinkman. However, that is not all she wrote. It is Saquon Barkley, who has 0.1 points through half a quarter. Looks like Justin Pugh is just taken to the locker room, if I had to guess.
Yep.
So it's going to be Tony Pollard and Dak Prescott versus the rest of the night is Saquon. Cody currently has a, what is that?
2.5, 3-point projected finish. But that could all change with a touchdown from Dak to Tony Pollard. That's going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on over the next 24 hours.
Looks like he's got a 25-point lead. 24.9.
Yeah, I'm just going on projections.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured that out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have all but taken it home. I am currently down a little under 17 points to Heath. However, I still have 3 players on Monday night, that being Jake Ferguson, Keenan Allen, and CeeDee Lamb. So if they can't score 17 points, then I will be rather upset.
Then you don't deserve to win.
That's correct.
So, hopefully that gets you guys both to 4-2. Looks like the skins this week is going to come down to most likely Dalton or myself, actually, which is kind of fun. Projections have Dalton at 151.81,
which would just lose barely.
Yep.
I know that's hard to read.
No, I still have
151. Go. Oh, you do have a guy to go?
I have Cowboys kicker. So it's going to be close.
It is going to be close.
So I have a projection of 160 if you hang over there. 158. So it has me projected to win the skin. Fun fact is we are 5 weeks in and no one has won multiple skins. So this is going to be something fun to watch. One little side note is the Survivor League. We should pull up and see if the other 2 folks picked the Bills. Obviously Dalton picked the Bills this week. And I believe it was the Lean pick the Dolphins. So Lean is for sure moving on to week 7. We have Patrick and Dalton moving on as well currently.
Yes, Buffalo.
Yep. So if Buffalo wins, we will move to week 7. If Buffalo somehow loses tonight, which would be a very big shock, Lean would be the Survivor League champion. So good luck to those folks. We are getting close to the very end of that tournament. It'd be fun to maybe do a second half Survivor League, but still working out details if I can somehow get a second half Survivor League going. But yeah, let's kick it off with the London game. Another London game this week. This is the end of the London series. There'll be 1 week off, and then we go back to Germany. Do you know
where in Germany they're playing
it? Munich.
Oh, again?
Okay. Yep. So they'll have 2 games in Munich, which you got to wake up early, you got to get your lineup set. We got a couple decent games. I believe we have the Chiefs and the Dolphins in London,
which is hilarious.
And I believe it's the Colts and the Patriots. So going to be something interesting going on in the overseas games. That's 5 games overseas now. I don't know what your thoughts are on the overseas games. It's fun because it's an island game and it's 1 game on TV, but it's kind of hard to get up and get going. And
well, you know me, I love sports
do.
being played across the pond and waking up early and watching sports.
And that's fine. It's just tough to get all your decisions made if you're trying to bounce between guys.
You have a lot more decisions.
You have to make your, like, if you got a questionable guy and you might have to just roll with that morning guy, and the long flight, everyone's kind of got a different philosophy on it. Like today, John Harbaugh and the Ravens, they flew over on Monday and kind of had a little bit of time to get going. So they flew over on their day off last week and kind of gave them a little time to acclimate to London. And Mike Vrabel and the Titans flew over on Friday. So obviously, most folks are the ones that get there earliest are the ones that have been kind of prevailing in the wins. Obviously, this week, Baltimore getting there early. Last week, Jacksonville getting there to stay an extra week. And then Jacksonville kind of historically being in London. They lost that first week. But the longer you're in London, the easier it is to get used to it, because I believe the Chiefs came over that Friday or was it the Chiefs? No. Who played Jacksonville that week? Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo came over pretty quickly, and I heard stories about Josh Allen trying to stay up all night long so he could get some rest. So obviously that did not work out for the Bills last week. But we already touched on it, but Baltimore kind of gets it done. Big day from Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker gets a lot of the work. The Ravens petering out in the red zone quite a few times, kicking six field goals, 6 for 6, but he does miss that extra point. But big day for Justin Tucker, the Hall of Famer. Otherwise, just kind of a average day. Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill does leave with an injury. Ankle. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, which is crazy because Ryan Tannehill 8 for 16 for 76 yards. Malik Willis comes in relief, goes 4 for 5 for 74 yards. Granted, they were kind of in a passing situation, but Derrick Henry kind of gets it done on the ground. Not a whole lot going on in that game, but Baltimore does get it done 24-16.
Nobody will know that Malik Willis threw it 4 for 5 for 74 yards because no one was watching the game at that point.
No, kind of wait and see what happens with Ryan Tannehill going forward.
Yeah.
Another 24-16 game.
All right. The Commanders take care of the Falcons. The Falcons had multiple chances to win this game. However, Desmond Ridder had other plans.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder gets it done. No, it does not get it done.
Doesn't.
Sam Howell gets it done. 14 of 23. Big day from Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, back-to-back years, getting it done early on in the season and running in touchdowns, catching touchdowns. And Sam Howell looking pretty good, flashing that arm strength. This is kind of one of the boring games of the day. They didn't really show it a whole lot on red zone, except
probably
obviously. Yeah. So, obviously Sam Howell throws 3 touchdowns. Desmond Ridder throws 3 interceptions. Tyler Algier and Brian Robinson both carry the ball 13 times, but Brian Robinson gets it done. Bijan Robinson gets it done through the air. Finally, we get a big game from Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. That is just how they have to get it done. Drake London, 9 for 125. Kyle Pitts, 4 for 43. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but does get the tight end touchdown, which means a huge portion of fantasy. And then Bijan Robinson, 5 for 43. So Bijan gets 18 touches. So that's just kind of how it's going to go. That's how we want to see them perform in fantasy, but obviously that's not how it's going to go in the box score. And, Arthur Smith's going to go in the lab and make sure that these guys don't get the ball next week.
Moving on, the Vikings.
Man, we've had some shitty games today, guys.
The Vikings find a way to cover against the Chicago Bears. It was a 3-point spread, if I do remember correctly.
Dalton, without looking at the box score, who is the Bears' backup quarterback who came in for Justin Fields this week, undrafted out of I don't even know what it's
son
called.
of the world record arm wrestler. That's who came in.
That is true. They did drop the knowledge that he is the son of the world arm wrestling champion,
Tyson Bagent.
Tyson.
It was pronounced by.
I think it'd be Baguette, but
Bagent.
Bagent. They've cut Jason. Was it
Bateman?
No, the Peterman. Nathan Peterman. They've cut him multiple. They've cut Nathan Peterman multiple times to keep Tyson Bagent on the roster. He goes 10 for 14 for 83 yards and an interception. Does take 1 sack.
Oh my gosh, how hilarious is that? Look at his quarterback rating. It was
20
better points better than Justin Fields.
Yep.
And he looked atrocious. And he also had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Donta Foreman. Everyone thought they'd have a better day. Minnesota's defense is horrendous. Donta Foreman gets 15 for 65. and that's about it. DJ Moore, 5 for 51, a little letdown after last week. Yeah, the Bears are bad, guys. That's just what it comes down to. Obviously, DJ Moore and all those folks are going to have good games every now and then. It's going to be kind of hard to rely on. Everyone kind of like Cole Kmet. What did Cole Kmet have? 1 catch today, 2 for 9. So you're welcome. Welcome to the wasteland of tight end, which is every single year in fantasy football.
It was a little disappointing. I missed on my KJ Osborne prediction a little bit. 4 for 48. It's manageable, but you'd like to see a little bit more. Looks like they just, wasted away the clock because the Bears weren't going to do anything with the son of the world record arm wrestler.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that Kirk Cousins completed 21 passes today for 181 yards. They kind of just dinked and dunked it down the field, kept the clock rolling. 21 to 31, 181 yards. Jordan Addison does get the touchdown today.
Which saves his day.
Which saves the day. But they just kind of wanted to get out of that game quickly.
All right, the Bengals find a way to cover. Zachary is going to answer the phone while we pause.
Man, a very good.
All right, we pause it for just a second. You guys didn't notice. We're just discussing how old we feel.
Yep.
Which is a problem. The Bengals do find a way to cover against the Seahawks, even though they did not feel like winning today. They still did. Jamar Chase wore a 7-11 chain because he's always fucking open. Tyler Boyd finds the end zone. I thought T. Higgins had a lot more production than he did.
2 for 20.
I think he had 2 first downs on his 2 catches. Jackson Smith and Jigbo gets it going.
Yeah, 4 for 48, 5 targets. Was it DK Metcalf had 10 targets today, but only comes down with 4 catches. He did leave with a hip injury, so we'll kind of have to monitor that. And the next week, they did just come off their bye. Tyler Lockett led them in receiving yards. Kenneth Walker.
Nice day.
Nice day. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but does get it done for fantasy purposes at least.
Picks up 5.7 through the air to add to it.
Yeah. Joe Mixon, not a whole lot going on. 12 for 38, does get 3 catches for 24 yards in the box score.
Doesn't really help him even.
Yeah, it's just kind of the Jamar Chase show at this point, and 14 points for Jamar Chase. Obviously a letdown after he scores 50 points last week. You can't expect 50 points every week. Obviously, a guy that you drafted in the top 3, you're hoping to get more production out of him on a week-to-week basis. But as Joe Burrow gets a little healthier, we'll kind of wait and see how it goes. But the Bengals do get to 3-3.
Yeah, they limp their way there.
They do.
Somehow they will find a way to get going, or they won't. Shocker of the day, the first of the undefeated teams, the 49ers do take that L from the Cleveland Browns, who were led by PJ Walker and all that he is.
Led
by Kareem Hunt Walker. Finds the end zone. He walked in. Amari Cooper does have a nice day, it turns out, after a 58-yard catch, which I do not remember seeing on the red zone. Mm-hmm. So did it actually happen? Who knows? Jerome Ford, 17 for 84 and 2 catches for 7 yards, which is, about 10 points. He's a top 20 running back with a stat line like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it goes. And speaking of people, Luca's calling me right now. Should we answer the phone?
Yeah, you should answer the phone. I'll keep plugging away at this real quick. Debo does.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? You're on the podcast right now. We're recording. What's going on? Yeah, what's up?
So is it still an illegal line if we didn't put a defense in there? Did I get the win still?
Who?
Lean.
Lean has an illegal lineup right now? You're about to pull a dick move and pick up both defenses on Monday night? Who's he got in his defensive lineup right now?
How did we
wow. That technically
that is an illegal lineup.
That would be an illegal lineup. Are you gonna do it, or are you gonna let him pick him up?
I already did it.
You already did it. Wow. Wow. That's gonna be a first in Gem City Gridiron history.
Watching them bylaws, son.
Luke, watching them bylaws. There are no Monday night teams available. That means you must have picked up the Chargers defense.
You should start the Chargers defense just to prove a point.
My defense already played.
Oh, start them in your flex.
Wow, that is something that's gonna. So, wow, that is in the bylaws. You must set a legal lineup, and Lean knows that.
He's gonna be pissed,
and he's going to be very pissed when Dalton sees him tomorrow morning that he is going to score 117 points and beat Luke
and not
actually get the points. So
save their lives.
So you need to rely on following the bylaws to actually get wins because your team actually kind of sucks.
So we're gonna we are going to give you a round of applause for probably having the lowest scoring victory Gem City Gridiron.
a negative point differential to get that win. Good job.
Trade, but he hasn't canceled or rejected it.
But wow, good catch for you. I kind of looked at that this morning as I kind of do on my rounds, but I usually just look for questionable guys or guys that are listed out. I did not look for buys. Yeah, that's a tough one. Dalton's gonna have to break that to Lean tomorrow, and that's gonna be rough. But yeah, you're live on the podcast right now. Anything you want to say to Lean?
Dude, come on now. I get it. You work 12-hour shifts. You can take 5 seconds to set your lineup.
Exactly why I think Lean might be a terrible player.
You know what the worst part is he's at work. He was at work today and probably in front of a computer watching football.
Because Sundays are pretty light, aren't they?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a tough one, man. We already broke down the matches that mattered that you already lost, but we need to retract that statement and say, as long as Luke picked up the Chargers defense,
he did.
That is over. Luke comes back from the grave and finds a loophole in the bylaws to either way. I don't think Lean would have picked up the Chargers defense. So that is,
you know what the worst part is he had an open bench spot. Lean did.
I know he dropped Samaje Perine. So I do not have any sympathy for people that do not follow the rules and to not take advantage of the rules. Like, I don't get it. It just baffles me.
Just want to say, Lean, you just got lit up.
Oh man.
I want to thank the TV show Suits for giving me this great.
Shout out Lewis Lit.
Shout out Lewis Lit.
Just got lit up.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
You just got lit up.
Thank you for the bylaws. Work in my favor.
And that was a phone call.
Yeah, that great. We'll talk to you later, Luke. All right, see ya. Wow.
You're lucky the phone wasn't over there. I was gonna click it, and that was a phone call.
Yeah. That is wild. If anyone did not hear that, hopefully people heard that on the podcast feed. Lean is a forfeit this week, not able to fulfill a starting lineup. He's going to be very distraught after next week. Everyone has access to the bylaws. Everyone knows you must set a complete legal lineup, which means you cannot play anybody on a bye. You cannot play anybody that is listed out prior to Sunday because they have the out designation. If you play someone that is questionable and they are listed as inactive when inactives come out, that is not your fault. That is kind of just deciding like you did not see the news. People are working. People have busy lives, but you can't play someone on a bye. Like if you have, I just don't get it. Hopefully he will learn from this and he's going to drop down to 2-4.
Yep.
So tough one for him. We'll get back to the games.
Moving on. Miami covers despite the fact that Mike White came in and did not want them to. He came in, threw a pick six, and then they brought Tua back in.
0 for 1, 0 yards, 1 pick, 0 QBR rating.
Oh, look, some guy named Chris Brooks got some run.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Yeah, he had in the matchup when they had the Denver game when they won 70-12, he had 6 for 66 yards.
Okay.
He's definitely obviously like the
mop-up guy.
The fifth string running back, obviously with no Devon Achane and no Jeff Wilson. He kind of gets a little bit of run. Decent player, but he actually left the game with an injury today. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem must start. Get it done. They do not need Devin Achane to get it done. It was a 14-0 game for Carolina to start the game, but Miami still covered. So good for them, man.
Chuba Hubbard with a nice day with no Miles Sanders, and that was about all you could say about the Panthers.
Adam fucking Thielen.
Yeah,
that's what
my
you
bad.
say about the Carolina Panthers. 11 for 115 and a touchdown.
Tutty.
I'm sorry, whoever drafted him. I probably said some snarky remark about Adam Thielen's too old. He can't do it anymore, and he's just shoving it down my throat now.
That's right. Eat your breakfast.
Eat my breakfast.
Fat Tina, you fat lord. All right. Jaguars 37, Colts 20. This was supposed to be the Gardner Minshew revenge game, and he was playing for the Jaguars today as well. 3 picks. All right. Zack Moss has a nice day as Jonathan Taylor works his way back from injury. The Colts did not run the ball very much. They just decided we're just going to drop back our mustachioed quarterback and throw it 55 times.
Yeah, 55 pass attempts for Gardner Minshew back in Duval County. But Jacksonville Jaguars do get it done. Travis Etienne does score 2 touchdowns. Kind of spread out through the air, through the receiving core. Kirk, Ingram, Ridley, Etienne. Ingram does have the better PPR day. He does get the 7 catches for 41 yards. Christian Kirk does tack on the touchdown. Ridley was contained compared to when they played week 1 when he went off.
2 more rushing touchdowns for Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Michael Pittman, nice day, 9 for 109. But like we said, they did not run the ball very well. Zack Moss has a nice day through the air, 5 for 38. Does tack on a rushing touchdown, salvages his day. I do expect them to ramp up Jonathan Taylor more and more each week.
Probably next week.
I think next week he's going to be full ramp up. He had a decent day still. He did have 5 catches. What do you have for carries? About the same.
8.
So they had about an even touch share today. So expect Jonathan Taylor to take more, maybe 70-30 next week. But Zack Moss may be efficient on those touches. Like he's been efficient, especially with Gardner Minshew checking down a lot.
I think if you look at this stat line for fantasy, you're like, all right, that's awesome. But from a coach's perspective, I don't think they thought he did anything.
Obviously, they gave him the goal line touchdown though, so
yeah,
like, they are valuing him. So I don't expect Zack Moss to go away completely.
No.
I think it's going to be more of like and bell count backs don't exist anymore. You might get, if you get 70% of the touches, that's a bell cow back nowadays. So I expect maybe it's going to be a 70-30 split. Maybe next week it might be 60-40, the week after 70-30. But Zack Moss is a guy you're going to want to keep a hold of, whether it's in this league or other leagues, because if Jonathan Taylor goes down, we've seen what Zack Moss can do. And he's finally doing it for Drew.
All right. The bell cow back for the Saints and the Derek Carrs of the world could not get the job done. The Saints had a million opportunities to score in this game and chose not to. I don't know why that's my favorite line, but it's just dry, and I like it. Chris Olave has a sneaky good day after I don't remember seeing him at all.
Wait. How does Taysom Hill have the same amount of catches as Chris Olave? 7 catches for 49 yards for Taysom Hill. When did Taysom Hill become a receiver? Obviously, he's listed as the tight end. He threw a ball. He only ran at one time. Maybe he's turning into a legit tight end. I don't know.
He's the king of that. Helps nobody.
Yeah, Chris Olave, 7 catches. Taysom Hill, 7 catches. He caught the same amount of passes as Alvin fucking Kamara. Like, you got to be kidding me. And he threw a pass. One for one, 4 yards, 83. He had a better passer rating than Derek Carr, 88.3. So, that's just a little crappy stat. But, yeah, he's their utility knife, but I've never seen him. I don't think he's had more than 7 passes caught in his career before entering today. So yeah, Taysom Hill, man.
Sure.
Why not?
Get you some
for tight end. He might be like a top 4 tight end this week.
All right. The Las Vegas
shitty games today.
Raiders beat the New England Patriots with the Fighting Brian Hoyers.
Wait. if you look at a box score and you see these 4 quarterbacks that play, Mac Jones, Malik Cunningham, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Brian Hoyer, what do they all have in common?
I would say it looks like an inter squad game played on national television.
Yeah, they all play for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, man, if Bailey Zappi was active, he would have played too.
Is this person? They were cooking bacon on an axe over a fire.
And they're
I'm
drinking.
not kidding.
Oh, man.
Bill's Mafia.
Oh,
There's
man,
some
Bill's.
pretty epic.
But yeah,
of Bill's Mafia.
You get a game that features Mac Jones, Malik Cunningham, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Brian Hoyer. Yeah, it must be an inter squad game for the New England Patriots.
And they just decided to bring a bunch of people.
Yeah, someone won.
It.
Someone won.
Josh Jacobs got force fed the ball. Jacoby Myers finds the end zone to have a nice day for him. We already talked about Kendrick Bourne having a nice day on Luke's bench.
Yeah, this is a back-to-back letdown for the folks that have Devontae Adams. I believe he only had 4 catches last week, only gets 2 this week. I know he's battling a shoulder injury, but he said he was fully healthy. We kind of expected him to get going. Granted, you know, it's a Bill Belichick defense. They're going to kind of bracket Devontae Adams, but thought they'd have a little bit better of a game. But the Raiders do get it done against Bill Belichick. 1-5 for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Does he get fired in the middle of the season?
No, you cannot fire Bill Belichick.
I agree.
Same way you could not fire Joe Gibbs. Same way you could not fire Tom Coughlin. You cannot do that.
He will not be there at the start of next season, though. I think this is it. I think this is kind of the last hurrah. At least in New England, but I don't think he goes and coaches anywhere else. I think he's done.
Who I would say Sackett's team wins more games than the Patriots do this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a hot take.
Not a hot take. They might be in the running for Caleb Williams next year.
That's very possible. The Cardinals looked a lot better watching than they put up
in the box score.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
And this is a break.
That was a break.
And we're back.
All right. Like I said, the Cardinals looked better watching than they actually ended up being in the box score. Obviously, no James Conner. It was a weird first half. I think the Cardinals were leading.
Yeah, it was 9-6 going
and
into
then
the second half.
They came out of halftime, and the Rams just decided, you can't stop us when we run up the gut. Yeah. And then they didn't stop them.
Kyron Williams had 4 yards at halftime. He comes out and has 154 yards in the second half, tacks on a touchdown, averages 8 yards a carry. Does get it done. Cooper Kupp gets going as well in the second half. Cooper Kupp is back 7 for 148 and a touchdown. Puka gets a little bit of share, but they only threw it, just a few times. So they only threw it 24 times. It's kind of hard to spread the ball around when you're going giving the ball to Kyron Williams so much. Josh Dobbs looked pretty good. This is kind of the first time I've actually watched a full Dobbs game. They were in the afternoon window, so we did get to see them quite a bit. For the folks that were paying attention, Josh Dobbs did lead the Cardinals in rushing, and it was Keontae Ingram, not Emery DeMarcado. Emery DeMarcado went for $300 in the Gem City Gridiron and went for so much fab across many different leagues. But it was Keontae Ingram that got the bulk of the carries. Keontae Ingram has been out the last 2 to 3 weeks with a neck injury. Emery DeMarcado was the backup to Kendre Miller at TCU. And he's undrafted free agent. He did well last week and has done pretty well the last couple weeks with Keontae Ingram out. But right after, and maybe this is something we have to talk about, but our waivers run Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Most of those first practices don't come out till Wednesday. I'm not sure if we want to change that. But it was listed that Keontae Ingram was listed the starter over Emery DeMarcado on Wednesday. But that's kind of something that we always have to do.
The calendar for or the weekly schedule for fantasy football is what it is, and that's what it should stay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like the
Monday,
majority of
Tuesday, you evaluate your team, you put in your waivers.
Yep.
Wednesday, you get your team, set your lineup. On Thursday, when you play your Thursday game, and then you sit around and wait and swear and do your suck up ups that you'll get a win.
tink.
Suck up ups.
But yeah, they most of the leagues are that way. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So the other 50% of the leagues are like Wednesday night as well after that first practice report comes out. But it is what it is. People know what they have to spend on. Obviously this year was spend money early. You get the best players.
Everyone's tired of missing on people, I think. So they're just like, I'm always ending up with money at the end of the year. Why?
Yeah,
would I
so
do
spend
that?
the money. So people went for high bucks this week. People are going to go for high bucks every week.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big one. The other surprise of the weekend, Dalton and I had a season-long bet for the 49ers and the Eagles. Who's going to get the number 1 seed? The 49ers lost in the first window. Dalton's like, I got a leader in the clubhouse now. Well, too bad, so sad. The New York Jets and Zach Wilson. I've talked so much shit on Zach Wilson on this podcast, but the last 3 weeks, he's taken Josh Allen down to the wire. He's taken Patrick Mahomes down to the wire. And now he takes Jalen Hurts down to the wire and gets it done. Does not have a great day in the stat column. But goes 19 to 33 for 186, no touchdowns. Breece Hall has a nice day. Gets another touchdown. They let him get in at the very end to try to get the ball back. But the defense gets it done for the New York Jets. No Sauce Gardner, but that doesn't matter. They get the job done.
All right. There's not really much else to say on this. Jalen Hurts had a very disappointing day.
3 picks.
I think they were all in the second half too, which is really
3 interceptions. AJ Brown, nice day. Overall, 7 for 131.
Isn't it 4 straight games with over 125 receiving yards or something like that? They were saying some stat.
Yeah. Going back to these box scores, man, these are some really rough games. Even though we were sitting there, but granted, we were just bullshitting, drinking a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Still drinking a lot of whiskey.
Yeah. Dave Montgomery goes down as the Lions beat the Buccaneers 20-6. Jared Goff was dialed in. He was tossing that rock all over the place. A big play to Jameson Williams, which is interesting to see him in the lineup. He bet on himself.
But one of us.
There were 30 receptions from Detroit receivers.
Wow.
And
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Like 11 people who caught passes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown caught 12 passes today. The next highest was Sam Laporta, 4. So Amon-Ra St. Brown dialing in today, 12 for 124
points.
30.4 points today in my lineup.
Nice. Chris Godwin has the bear of the carries or bull of the carries. How does that work? Yeah,
bulk of the catches. Wow,
Sure.
They only ran the ball 16 times, man.
That's
rough
bad.
day.
That's bad, man.
That's a bad day.
All
That's a bad day at the
currently
office.
the Giants are up 3-0, but the Buffalo Bills are kicking a
Just kicked the field goal.
52-yard field goal.
No
which
good.
Is wide left,
Wide
just
right.
barely. Oh, yeah, wide.
We're
right.
backwards.
We're backwards. So that brings us to bets that matter. Zach, you can dispatch this computer. It is my turn to come up with them this week, I believe.
Yes.
So I'm just going to randomly look through here. The first one will be the Las Vegas Raiders, who might not have Jimmy Garoppolo, who left with a back injury, against the Chicago Bears, who might not have Justin Fields, who left with a shoulder injury.
Oh my gosh.
The Raiders were favored by 3. Who do you want? It's in Chicago.
Give me the Raiders.
I'll take the Bears +3.
Wow, that is the Raiders are favored by 3 on the road. I bet that spread this morning was a pick 'em.
I don't know.
I bet it was, because you can bet futures. But
moving on, this is actually a pretty. I'll save this one for the end to make you pick it, because I don't want to.
Fantastic.
We have the Chargers going to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 5.5-point favorite. I will take the Chargers plus 5.5.
Okay.
Chiefs minus
Chief-
5.5 for you.
Yeah. We don't bet against it. We don't take the same sides on this
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Basically, whoever gets the second pick, whoever makes the bets, they kind of get the best spread that they want.
So here you go. Lions going to Baltimore. The Lions are a 2.5-point dog on the
Oh,
road.
wow.
You make
So
the pick.
Ravens are 2.5-point favorites
At home.
At home. That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna take the Ravens.
All right, give me the Lions and the points.
That's fine. We will take a quick peek.
We will take away Lean's win.
Yep. And the consolation prize for Lean next week, he gets to play me. So I will get to play Lean, who is now 2-4, not 3-3 anymore. Looks like I have a few bye week problems, just kicker and Brees Hall. Lean is without, he's got an open bench spot where you could have a kicker or a defense, or maybe drop Anthony Richardson. Just kind of got a couple pieces to move around. So it looks like Anthony Richardson will be out the rest of the season.
We don't know that yet, but that is the report.
That is the report that he will be out the rest of the season. We have Patrick and Blaster, or Patrick and Dalton. Bye weeks are going to start coming hot and heavy now that we're in week 7 next week. Dalton and Patrick.
What I'm really worried about is that kicker bye week. That's really got me staying up late at night.
What about a defensive bye week? Would you pick up another one?
Yeah, I'd probably drop my other defense.
All right. We have Brinkman, projected 60 points right now with a lot of bye week issues, and his team is not very good.
That's a bad combination, Cotton.
It's a very bad combination, and we'll see how it goes, because Heath is only projected 89 points, so he also has bye week issues. That's going to be fun to see. Lots of bye week issues. So Heath at 4-2, and Brinkman 0-6. Oof. One more loss, 2 more losses, he's out. Once you got to get 7 losses as a max, you can kind of take on. We have Cole versus Sackett.
It's got to go 7-1 the rest of the. Stay tuned to see if that happens.
Fast forward.
Didn't
happen. We have Sackett versus Cole. Again, like we said, bye weeks are going to kind of start becoming a factor. Injuries are going on. Drew versus Blaster should be an actual decent.
I'm gonna scroll down.
We got some bye week issues for Blaster.
And injury issues.
And some injury issues. As most people are in week 7. We have Drew going. It'll be 3-3. Blaster will also be I think he's 3-3 as well. And then we have
Drew's actually 4-2.
And then we have Luke, somehow predicted 82 points. Oh no, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase on bye. He might
forget.
No, he won't forget, but he might only score like 75 points. So sometimes you can score 75 points and get a win.
Maybe next week he'll do it again.
Yeah. Maybe he'll give one back to the community. Maybe he'll give one back to Garrett, which will be 5-1 most likely this week. We are next week halfway through the Gem City Gridiron.
That's exciting.
Regular season. We are halfway through. People are going to start making plans, looking for the future.
It's weird not talking divisions this year because we did a full.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting as we go towards the end for playoff, because obviously divisional wins don't matter.
Nope. The top 2 seeds get the top 2 buys.
But what?
Top 2 seeds get not the top 2, not top 2 buys, top 2 seeds.
Oh.
They get essentially a buy. They play the worst teams. Yeah. Pointing to this thing back here. Number 1 seed, blah blah blah.
This was a podcast.